Amazon shoppers, this is a really quick review of this FUNLAB Pro Switch controller for the Switch 1 and 2 that I got recently on Amazon. I just want to do a very quick unboxing. I also want to talk about the most main and prominent features of this controller. I also just want to take it out of the box, show it actually being used on my Switch right here, just to show you how it works, show you what that looks like, just for some frame of reference, and yeah, just have a chat about it. I always like to thank the brand for sending me a gift so I can give this full and extensive review of this really awesome controller. Now, first through the box, I really like it. I like that it shows you some of the different RGB displays. This is just one of the presets. I'm pretty sure it has 7 different ones, but I really like the design right here. I like the little eye right here. I like all the buttons at the front. It also does come with a dock. Some of the main features it explains that it's the actual RGB is powered by FUNLAB. It does have a hidden tilt light display, so it does have a display on the actual controller itself to help you with some, I believe, the programmable settings. You can program some of the switches and settings on this controller, and then it also shows you that it has an RGB sync with the actual dock. The box is very simplistic, but look at actually inside of the box. There's only 3 main things. First of all, you have the actual USB-C to USB charging cable used for charging the dock or the controller in case you want to have a wired connection to your computer or any sort of wired sort of devices you connect with it. Also, it does have this little manual right here, which is kind of like very nice because it's not like a manual that has a bunch of pages. It's just a bunch of different QR codes for the different sort of devices. These are giving you full-on instructional videos of how to actually operate it, how to Bluetooth connect it, how to do all the different things with your controller and your dock, all the different devices right here. Also some need to help stuff like satisfaction, has a 1-year quality warranty, and then some contact supports at the very back. And then looking at the controller, it is very, very nice, very lightweight. I like the black design. 7 different RGB functions on this, 7 different settings. All of these buttons, I believe most of them can be programmed, but I do know that these ones at the back can definitely be programmed to whatever you want, whatever sort of sensitivity. It does also have some buttons right here, gives you some of the model number, the input, etc., etc. And at the back right here is the actual dock. You can see it's got some of that design right here. You can plug it using this cable for the USB-C design. But again, if you want to connect this with not only your Switch 1 or your Switch 2, it's definitely possible with this cable and it having the 5.4 Bluetooth support to connect it with any of your native devices. I'm going to very quickly power this on, power on my Switch, show you it actually being used, and then talk about my final thoughts with this controller. All right, and there we go. I got everything fully set up and ready to go. I got the controller here, I got my Switch, and I'm going to show you everything that has to do with it, the FUNLAB Pro controller. But yeah, I got it fully set up, and one of my favorite things about this controller is just the ability to just place it on just like that and have it charging. It's going to make it a lot easier when you have this to have a designated place for your controller thanks to this little stand that is included with the full packaging. I really, really like it. I also know that the charging time when it is fully charged is 12.5 hours, which again, very, very nice and honestly pretty hefty for a Switch marketed controller. Again, you can use this for Apple TV Play. You can use this for obviously Switch, Windows, whatever has a Bluetooth connection, this controller is going to have a place for it. But yeah, connecting it was super duper easy. I just hold down the hold button and it will automatically pair. Of course, that's not how it's going to be once you first get it. The way that you do it is with pretty much any typical controller. You go to controllers and then you go to change grip and order. And what you got to do with this controller in particular is going to press this home button and then the Y button for 3 seconds and it should say paired and then you're ready to go and it is fully connected. So yeah, just like literally my first impressions of using it in the home screen, it is incredibly responsive. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is not super crazy, but compared to one of these little, joysticks that you may have, I'm just gonna quickly turn this on. Let me show you this, how unresponsive this is compared to, I mean, I'm moving it a ton. It's really not doing much. With this, it's basically instantaneous. And keep in mind, this is a Switch 1. That's just thanks to the Bluetooth capabilities that's within this controller. And even playing a game like Smash, there's some initial things I'm realizing. First of all, the actual vibration for this controller. It is amazing. It literally feels exactly like a Switch 1 Pro controller, like regular Pro controllers. It's very fast, very immersive. So you might be asking yourself, if you're going to be playing Smash or you're going to be playing any of these sort of competitive games on your Switch, how is the stick drift? And thankfully, FUNLAB actually has integrated technology with this controller to basically reduce as much stick drift as possible. So not only are you going to have a really good experience when you're going to be using this controller, I'm actually having a really good, I'm having a lot better of a time than I thought I would with this controller. But yeah, it's very responsive, very fast. I mean, the Bluetooth connection, I don't feel, of course, any stick drift immediately, but also I don't think in the future or for a long time I'm going to feel much stick drift, so that's also very nice. Also, if you don't really like this color, at the very back, you can actually change the color by pressing a couple of the light buttons in the back. There's also like 4 different modes. There's like a breathing mode. There's like, I believe like a static, like RGB mode. All sorts of different modes in case like you don't like this specific color, or you just, you want to change the mode when it comes to the actual controller. And also one last little cool feature I found with this controller is like you can see how it's kind of like this color right here, and I switched the cover to yellow. If you place it back on here, it will automatically switch it to that designated color. But yeah, this Switch controller is really, really awesome. I mean, bang for your buck, the response time, the battery life, all the different nicks and knacks that come with the controller. You can also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this little piece right here, you can actually change that out for this piece in case you don't want all the fill, like it being like sort of a fuller sort of feel. You want something more precise with the little pad right here. You can change that, and you can customize it as you will. Speaking of customizable things, there's all sorts of different macros at the very back of the controller. Of course, I just used that, I just played Smash for an example, but there are different games where you're going to be using these little 2 pieces at the back, and these are, you can toggle different macros for them, and you can kind of toggle different customizations for those back little pieces right there, those little toggles. And yeah, I mean, it's very responsive. The Bluetooth's amazing. You can use this for basically any sort of device. I just used it for my Switch because that's obviously the market appeal. And if you're going to use this for your Switch for competitive or non-competitive gaming, you know, like Animal Crossing, Tomodachi Life, things of that nature, this is a fantastic controller all around. I really like the design, and I just really like everything about it. The longevity of it, the actual like instruction manual, all the different sources in case you need help setting it up or you have any questions, you can go to that. And my favorite thing about it is the stick drift thing, because a lot of these controllers fall into the same sort of category of like, you know, use it for a while and then it starts to have major stick drift issues. And I think that is what makes this controller amazing, because it has so much integrated support when you're going to be playing competitive games, and you know, stick drift is not really going to be a thing that you're going to have to deal with in the long term with this controller, and I just think that's amazing with it. But yeah, bang for your buck. If you're looking for a very nice Switch gaming controller, I highly recommend picking this one up. But yeah, that's my full review of this FUNLAB Pro Switch controller for the Switch 1 and 2 that I got recently on Amazon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.